Hello, hello, hello. I wanted to jump on and just tell you Happy New Year. Boy, what a year 2020 has been. I've spent the last 4 days hunkered down, doing all the business planning for our companies, writing a few blogs. If you all cannot tell, my blogs are getting big action right now. So I guess you all have nothing better to do than to read the blogs. But no, in all seriousness, I want to encourage everybody out there to put 2020 behind you. And for some of you, it was a good year. It didn't suck for me. Actually, I really ended up doing what I think I'll do the rest of my life, but it definitely brought its challenges. Hi, Liza. Girl, I'm going to get out there to see you in 2021. That's just like bucket list. I'm coming. So I think 2020 was the word we used to use in fashion was juxtapose, right? And juxtapose was that you could put polka dots and stripes together, and somehow, some way it worked. And there were a lot of designers out there that could come in with crazy patterns, and it just worked. And I know our lives have been semi-juxtaposed. Hey, Rebecca, tomorrow's my best friend's birthday, and she's on here right now. And I think that's what 2020's been. It's been the best of times. It's been the worst of times. And I'm really praying for all of you that we can put the worst behind us and maybe even consider some of it our new normal. There are things that I was so bummed out about in March and April, 20 something speaking gigs canceled or rescheduled for 2021, although a few have now rescheduled. What was I going to do? Whatever. And I figured out and I learned that sometimes a pivot is the best thing you can do in life. And I just want to encourage you that are out there. Hey, Jamie, how are you? I want to encourage you that are out there. Some of you have been able to stay the course, like Liza. First of all, congratulations on just having the most amazing organization known to man. You and, oh my gosh, I just think you and Scott and I just think all of you are absolutely amazing in how you do business. So some of our industries were not as affected near as much as others. Real estate in Central Texas, I was an essential worker. So I got to work during the pandemic. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. No, I'm kidding. I'm very blessed and grateful we could. And same with my husband being in the mortgage business. So some of us didn't skip a beat financially, but there was other hardships, right? There was hardships on not being able to see our friends and our loved ones and not being able to gather and come together like we used to do. Rebecca Contreras, a lot of you saw us in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. And Rebecca, I want to celebrate her for a minute. She has got her own consulting company in Washington, D.C. She lives here in town. She worked for President Bush in the Oval Office. She was in charge of HR and making presidential appointments. She's kind of a big deal. And when she left the Oval and President Bush was no longer president, she started her own consulting firm. And she's crushed it, absolutely crushed it. So she told Renee and I and Kathy, she said, I want to do something for myself and my friends that I've never done. And for me, a bucket list is to is to have a private jet. And so she did it and she took us to Nashville and it was unbelievable. But see, so some of the best things come out of the pandemic, but she's not been able to really be in Washington, D.C. very much lately at all, which is where her office is and her team is because of what's going on in the world. So, we can have the best of times and the worst of times. And I think for me, the hardest thing has been not being able to see all of you and being able to go to the conferences and to be able to, hit the road and do some of that. And that to me has been the biggest thing with this pandemic is, I know a lot of people who've had COVID and thank you, Jesus, the majority of them, all of them have recovered with the exception of our friend, Ralph Pagilla. And terrible. He was so wonderful to me over the years. And, and I know some of you have lost family members. I know some of you have lost friends. And so like I said, this year has been the best of times. It's been the worst of times. But one of the things I do think, hey, Chris Martinez, hi, Mom. Hi, Nigel. How are you? Riley, how are you? it's been the best of times. It's been the worst of times. And something I learned from somebody a long time ago, they taught me how to compartmentalize. And so sometimes when we had a lot going on at work, this person would say to me, okay, you need to compartmentalize. Like, I know we have this problem sitting over here, but you can't let it wreck everything else you've got going on over here. And so I want to really challenge you to compartmentalize what's going on in the world. And I will tell you, I have not turned on the news and I haven't turned on the news in 2 months. I don't want to see it. Right. And I just don't want to see it. So I don't turn it on. I don't get involved in it. Right. So I'm compartmentalizing what's going on right now. And hey, Lisa, how are you? And the Facebook users, I don't know who you are because you're coming in off of one of our other Facebooks I'm broadcasting to. But so, and I've made it a point to try to spend time with people I can spend time with. And there's people like Liza that I'm set to go see her. She made she and Adam Aarons both made a very generous donation. And for that donation, I was going to come out and work with her team. And I'm still going to do that in 2021, right? It didn't work for 2020. And so there's just people I miss. I miss seeing so many of you because we all traveled together. We all went to conferences together. We found reasons to meet up. My first trip after COVID is we went to Scottsdale to see the Lectors, but we figured that we were going off the grid at their ranch. So it was going to be okay. So I haven't done near the traveling that I used to do, but I've been able to catch up with a lot of people and I've been able to spend a lot of time with my grandkids, right? So you look at the cup half full scenario. And I didn't think I would get as busy as I did in real estate, but when your business partner is the most famous guy in real estate, in the world, probably, you're busy. And that's okay. And that's good because I get to help a lot of people find their dream home and make their dreams come true and help people pivot and help people build a new career, which is so exciting. Oh, Michelle, thank you for your beautiful gift. Well, I love you, honey. And I am so proud of you, Michelle McLean. Let's just talk about Michelle for a minute. Okay. I look at these before and after pictures and, sometimes you can get to a point in life where you think, I cannot, there is no return. I don't know. I mean, I've gotten to this point, I've gained the weight or this has happened to me or this has happened to me. And so I'm just going to throw in the towel. And Michelle did exactly the opposite. She said, I'm not going to let this define me. I had a crappy year, but I'm going to take control. And now I think she's down 30 to 35 pounds, but it isn't even the weight because Michelle, you're beautiful regardless. You're so beautiful on the inside and you're beautiful on the outside, but it's the fact that you took control of it and you're winning. And you're winning at every level. And that is what I'm so proud of for you. Again, you could weigh 100 pounds or you could weigh 400 pounds and we would all love you, honor you and cherish you and be so grateful that you're in our lives at any weight. So it's not about the weight. It's about you doing, you just digging in and you saying, I want to be healthy. I want to make a better me. I want to be happy. And I can just see it all over your face. So that makes me so happy. Lisa, sharing is caring. Yes, it is. As you guys can see, I kind of did a different thing in here. I'm in my family room. I want you guys to see. Hold on a second. There's my Christmas tree. I thought it is too darn pretty to take down. And then there's the fire. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's my ring light. There's my fire I've got going. Yep. Yeah, so I kind of like sitting in here better than I like sitting in my office, but I don't feel near as official sitting in here. But I just wanted to tell everybody out there, I appreciate all of you so much. And you've been such great friends and supporters of mine and encouragers. I don't know what to say, but I do want to say this. And I believe this to my soul, that 2021 is going to be a better year. And part of it is, I believe, is because a lot of us have adapted to a new normal, right? Hey, Amber, there's one of my partners, one of my colleagues out in Los Angeles, out in Southern California. If you need to buy a house, anybody in Southern California, you look up my girl, Amber. But we've all accepted the new normal. We have. I know that when I go to the store, I got to put a mask on. I know that when I walk into a restaurant, I've got to put a mask on, sit down, I can take my mask off. Now, I know it's different in different parts of the country, okay? But I'm just talking about that. So before, when I would just hoop and holler and kick and scream about it, now I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I know that we're not going to go to live sporting events probably for a while. Okay, well, they figured out to get most, even the high school games here in Texas on television, which I'm telling you, in Texas, that's a big deal. I mean, my husband went to live high school football games every Friday night for every year I can remember. We've been married. And that was way after our son stopped playing because, he got out of high school eventually, which is when I gave up my high school card, just for the record. I'm like, okay, if J.T. Copeland is not on the roster, I'm not going to go sit in the stands. But my husband did every single Friday night, just about, on, supporting our local hometown high school team. So what's the pivot? Well, the pivot is you watch it on television. The pivot is maybe you don't get to go every Friday night because there's a limited amount of tickets and the parents need to go see their kids play. But so I think that coming into 2021, I don't know how much is going to be different. I think that we've been conditioned to it now. I think we're better conditioned to it. Here's Michelle saying, Amber, could use your help on a friend of mine who needs to sell in Madera. Okay. Yes. Amber, reach out to my girl, Michelle. Twa Rivers, thank you so much. I'm glad I met you in 2012. She was a client of mine at the dealership, and she was the queen of Fiat. I mean, queen. Her Ladybug. I know that Ladybug was her first car, and then she got an Abarth. And I can't remember the name of the Abarth, but anyways, she was just another great supporter of mine. And look, 8 years later, we're still friends. And so I think in the world of social media, and I think that we are all connected now, I think COVID has been the great equalizer. There's not a human on planet Earth that's immune to it. We all know somebody who's had it, or we've had it. I have not had it, thank you, God. And please, I don't even want to speak it into the universe, because I've had some friends who've just gotten terribly sick. Like, it is no joke. It is miserable. Oh, your Abarth is Tizzy. Of course it is. Oh, I have such great Twa stories. She was just one of our favorite clients ever at the dealership. See, I start talking about that and then I lose track. But I mean, the great equalizer. So I used to say that time is the great equalizer, right? We've all got 7 days and 24 hours. Well, I still believe that, but I think that all of us are, we use our time more wisely. I think that this has put a good scare into a lot of people, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. I just know that it's real, and you got to be careful. Like, I can tell you this, if next month, if they said that they were having the Rolling Stones were coming to Austin, Texas, and they were going to load up a stadium and the tickets were free, I wouldn't go. Like, I'm not going to stand that close to that many people. But I was one of the first people to get on an airplane, because when you look at airplanes and their ventilation systems and, the way they had us, whatever, I mean, an airplane was probably safer than going into HEB. So, right. So I think each of us has to weigh our risk, according to our risk, and not judge anybody else. Because I might be willing to do something you're not, and you might be willing to, you might go to that Rolling Stones concert. You might say, hell yes, free tickets. I will take my chances. I don't know. It's not for me to judge. Right. And so that's a lot of what I see coming into 2021. Michelle says, COVID has shown us that we're all capable when we pull together and push through storms. Yeah. God has a plan for everything. And I absolutely believe that. I believe that our God is bigger than disease. I believe that he'll heal our people and he'll heal our land. And, I hope everybody out there has got some level of faith in something. Because it would be really hard to get through something like this if you didn't. Like, if you had to just sit and think about the reality of it versus maybe possibly the big cosmic message of it, then I think it does put you into a different mindset. So I agree with that, Michelle. Okay, I want to know what everybody's doing out there. I'm waiting for my husband to get home. We're going over to Renee's house. Rebecca, if you're watching this, I know you can't come tonight because you had other plans, because I was last minute Lucy saying that we would do something. But we're just going to Renee's. Kurt got a new simulator, like a really fancy, badass race car simulator, because he is a race car driver. So he's got to keep his hours and his certifications. So my husband's so excited to go drive in the Lamborghini, because Kurt races for Lambo, in the Lamborghini simulator. Like, I didn't even have to beg him to go, nothing. He was like, we are going over there. But what are y'all going to do? And so Facebook users is not a dang thing. Who is that? Because unless you sign in and give StreamYard your name, I don't know who you are. But what is everyone else doing tonight? Michelle says she's sitting in pajamas and having a single sip of champagne. Oh, girl, come on. Can't screw up my 75 hard. Oh, so you're doing 75 hard. I did not realize that. Hey, Sean, happy new year to you. And then the other thing I want to challenge y'all with is like, what is your word going to be for 2021? Like, what is the one word that will drive you and define you? And as I've worked 3 days, like literally 14 hours, this is the first time I've looked like this in 3 days. Hair in a ponytail, no makeup on my face, and just sitting at my kitchen table because I wanted to sit downstairs versus upstairs. Hey, Barry, how are you? Oh, Michelle's word is relentless. Mine is unapologetic. And those of you who have followed me for a long time, you know that I did the show Unapologetically Fierce, Fierce 365, Unapologetically Fierce. And I'm going to leave fierce to some other friends of mine who are really going to own that this year. My dear friend Jan Goss Gibson, who, boy, talk about a woman who had her world shaken up in 2020. Dang. Her husband passed away very quickly of cancer, which, I mean, literally, he had a pain in his back. Went to the chiropractor, and within 6 to 8 weeks, he had relocated to his new home in heaven. And it was terrible and shocking to her. Then his father passed away. Like Jan's had it hard. She's had it really hard. But I tell you her story to tell you, I willed her all of my fierce stuff. And she's just been a friend of mine for, I don't know, God, 10, 15 years. And we've just been in the trenches together on some things. And so in 2016, I had a license plate that said "Fear Not." And for 2 years, I had the "Fear Not" license plate on my car. So everyone in town knew the white Mercedes with "Fear Not" was Lisa. And I graduated that plate. And now my plate is Sellon, SELLN 512. 512 is our area code here in Austin. So I'm Sellon 512 now. But I willed the plate to Jan because I was like, Jan, like this is your year to fear not. And she's the one who gave me the word fear not. Anyways, I'm not going to digress on that right now. But that being said, I'm going to leave the fierce and the fear for my dear friend, Lisa Beth. And she's got her whole course on fear, which is fantastic, by the way. And Jan's got some stuff she's doing. So I'm going to leave being fierce and fearless and all of that to my dear friends who are now going to take that torch. And I'm glad they are. But mine is unapologetic. See, there's been things in business and in life I have delayed doing. I've never not done something, but I've delayed doing it because I'm like, oh gosh, if I do that, then that's going to rile this person up or that person, or it's going to get into their backyard because now I'm, building a global real estate empire with Tariq El Moussa from HGTV, right? So that's getting into a lot of people's backyards right now. Will not lie. So, I was kind of quiet about coming out about it in the beginning. We used to laugh and they used to tell me, you're just being an undercover agent, literally undercover agent. And I was like, well, I've got lots of friends and people I know that are blah, blah. It didn't matter. Anyways, but when I made the decision to go like balls to the wall with it, and that's all we're doing. I mean, our business exploded. Our team has exploded globally. And it's just being unapologetic. And so I want to encourage every one of you to do you in 2021. Do you. Okay. Do not let what I think, or what Twa thinks, or Larry thinks, or Christopher thinks, or Michelle thinks, or anybody else think, stop you from blazing through what it is you want to do. There's going to be a lot of pivots in 2021. A lot of people pivoting. We saw a lot of it, and I talked a lot about it. We saw a lot of it in 2020, but we're going to see the results of the pivots start to materialize and to manifest in 2021. I totally believe that. I totally believe it. But you've got to go into that pivot. You've got to go into whatever you're doing. And you might even still be doing the same thing you were doing before. And that's great. Good for you. But you've got to be unapologetic about it. Like almost to the point, I don't like the word arrogant because I don't like arrogant people. I really don't. Like there's just some people I'm like, seriously, stop. But I love confident people. And there is a fine line. And I have been called arrogant before. And I'm like, I'm not arrogant. I'm confident. Like I believe what I'm doing so much that you're not going to stop me. But I never tied unapologetic to it. So my word for 2021 is period, and end of story. It's unapologetic. Like, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do for our team and my business partners what I've been called to do. And it's going to ruffle some feathers straight up. We're going to, there's just going to be some people that don't like us. And that's because of some of the things we're doing. And I'm not going to worry about that anymore. Right. And I want to manifest that onto all of you. Now, again, I don't want you to be arrogant, and I don't want you to be ruthless or any of that, but I want you to do you. And when you do the best version of you, and Elena Cardone talks about it in Build an Empire, go build your empire. And let me tell you something, y'all, you are going to ruffle a few feathers along the way. You are. There are going to be people that are like, dang, what is Christopher up to? What is Michelle up to? Ooh, I don't like them anymore. Sometimes they don't like you just because you're experiencing amazing success, and they're not. They're still stuck back in March of 2020, trying to figure out what they're going to do, maybe paralyzed in fear. I don't know. Again, people are at different levels with all of this. So it's not for me or you or anyone to judge where somebody's at. But if you're ready to break free, if you're ready to push through, because I'm seeing all these new posts, kicking out 2020, and here comes 2021. And I'm like, okay, y'all, seriously, we're talking about one day here. Nothing's really going to change except for our mindset saying it's probably going to be a lot of the same. It just is. We're still going to have to wear a mask. For my friends that hate wearing masks, I hate wearing masks, but I do it. It's just going to be a lot of the same. And until we get this thing under control, it's just going to be a lot of the same. So one day isn't going to make a difference. So I just don't want anybody to think they're going to wake up in the morning and ta-da, like, hey, it's a new year. You should have made it a new year the day that you decided to live out the word that you want to walk, right? Unapologetic. That's my word. Okay. I said it to my team 3 days ago. So my new year started 3 days ago. When I honed down on the one word, the one thing, Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams, who lives here in Austin, one of the greatest real estate gurus in the world. I think the founder of our company is bigger, but that being said, he wrote the book, The One Thing. And if you've never read The One Thing, you should read The One Thing, because you can't be great at 10 things. You're going to be mediocre because you're so stretched out. It's the one thing. And when my best friend called me today, and she's just like, where the hell have you been for 3 days? I'm like, I've been doing the one thing. And I didn't want to get distracted chit-chatting with you girls. I don't have time. I had a lot I had to get done, and it had to be done by the time my husband and I walked out tonight. It had to be done for the year. So I turned off the phone and just worked. And so I want to challenge you. What is the one thing? Sharon's Bacon says it's perseverance. Oh, Christopher Campbell, ding, ding, ding. You could win this one. Unapologetically moving forward. Do you hear that, Liza? Are you still on? Liza and her team, they move lives forward, but unapologetically moving forward. And that might be, Christopher, and I'd love to hear it, is, don't like me, have a seat over there with the rest of the people waiting for me to care. Now, Christopher, see, like that's getting a little arrogant. And hey, Marcus Stone, I saw your post today too. I'm so glad. I'm so proud of you, my dear friend. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So it doesn't, your one word doesn't have to affect anybody else. And it, like unapologetic, that isn't my thing on, well, if you don't jump on my train, you're dead to me. And probably when I was younger or a few years ago, I might have been a little more like that, but I'm not now. I'm not. Like, I'm so focused and clear on what we have to do. And I have such a dedicated team and my partners that we're just so like this, because we see the opportunity of our global real estate brokerage, that, you say something bad, I don't care. Like, I honestly, I don't even have time to listen to it. I don't even have time to listen to it. And that's where I want all of you to get in your process of moving forward. Because the ones that are on here with me on New Year's Eve, either you got nothing better to do, or you're sincerely like trying to figure out a path and what you're going to say tonight at midnight when that ball drops. And I'm hoping all of you have come up with it before that. But I will tell you this. as sure as anything. Hey, Janelle, God, girl, long time no talk to. That's another one I missed from conferences. Pick the one word, just pick the one thing, as Gary Keller would say, and do it unapologetically. Just do it unapologetically. So if it's, what was Michelle's word? I think Michelle's was relentless. Or somebody's was relentless. Okay. If you're going to be relentless, be unapologetically relentless. Okay. Don't let the naysayers get in the way. Don't let the people, like, I know Michelle said, I saw it in a post. She said something about, like, haters are going to hate. Hey, Michelle, if anybody is jealous of your results, well, then tell them to get their butt up early in the morning like you do and go to the gym and eat macros or micros or whatever it's called that Luke's got you on, right? Tell them to make the same sacrifice that you're willing to make. And guess what? They're probably going to get the same results. And it's like that in business, and it's like that in life. So I just wanted to jump on and encourage all of you. I kind of wanted to see myself with makeup and hair done. Oh my God, that's so funny because it's so true. Yeah, Janelle says exactly. And Herbert says he's going to believe. But what are you going to believe in? Do you going to believe in Santa Claus? You're going to believe in success? Like, are you going to put something to the universe and believe it's going to get done? Like, I want to challenge you on those words. Like, I can define what unapologetic means to me. Like, I'm going to make a decision, and I don't care what other people think about it. Other people in the industry are competitors, maybe people I've worked with in the past, whatever it may be. I don't care, because we are unapologetic about success in 2021. Period. Right? So let's see some other words. So Herbert, I just want to, have you defined believe. What is it you're going to believe? Marcus says you just finished The One Thing. Isn't that a good book? It's a really good book. Yeah. Nigel says, hello, Happy New Year. Hello, Nigel. How are you? So anyways, I am going to hit it for another 30 minutes and just finish up some last minute details of 2020. And Edward says, period. Yeah, period's almost like unapologetic. Like, we're going to do this, period. Like, we're done. Like, that's the answer to the question. And I'm kind of a period person. I'm kind of like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. So anyways, that is my big challenge to y'all. I haven't gone live near as much as I used to. I do have a big, I'm going to be doing a lot more video, but a lot of it's going to be real estate related, of course, right? Oh, believe in myself and in my success. Okay, as you should. You know what, Herbert, believe in myself and my success. And like Edward says, period. Anyways, I just wish y'all a happy new year. Wake up knowing in the morning, it's probably a little kind of the same as, you're still going to have to do what we're doing now, but go into it with a different mindset. Go into it with the mindset that it is what it is. Potentially this is our new temporary normal. And you're going to go out and you're going to push through it. You're going to conquer through it. You're going to pivot potentially. I don't know. Not everyone needs to pivot. If you're working for Lisa and Scott Simons, you don't need to pivot. But if you're doing something else, maybe you need to pivot, right? It's do you in 2021. That should really be my mantra for 2021. But I feel like from a corporate perspective, I feel like unapologetic. And for what we're up against in a very competitive market, I feel like unapologetic is a better way for us to push through, to fight, and to win. But do you, it would rhyme with 2022, but do you in 2021. And I just wish all of you continued success. Again, I'm so grateful for so many of you. And it's so amazing how social media, and for me, the automotive industry, has brought so many of us together that I think we're going to be friends for life. And I'm grateful. And so many of you, you guys will reach out. Like if I'm quiet, you don't see, like, are you okay? Whatever, what's going on. And so I'm grateful for that. You know who's missing on this today, Michelle, which I'm shocked. He must be training people, is Anthony, because Anthony's always so good. So I wanted to give him a shout out and, talk about somebody who has just really, really persevered. And then he got named Employee of the Year or Trainer of the Year with AutoMax, which is so well deserved. Talk about someone who dedicates his whole life to making other people's lives better and helping them pivot, is Mr. Anthony Santangelo. Edward Ellis says 2021 growth, contribution, and experience. What do you mean experience? Like experience life, experience things you haven't experienced before, just say yes, just go ahead and do it, that type of thing? Let me know. And Nigel says, reveal me 2021. Love it. Thank you, Christopher, for the great wishes. Shot out of a gun, I'm exploding into 2021. I like that. Marcus Stone, you need to come up with something like that. Talk about somebody who's a great communicator. Mr. Marcus Stone. And this is how out of it I've been. I don't even know if you're still doing your show, Marcus, or if I know you started it again. And can we please give a shout out to our dear friend, Glenn Lundy, baby number 8 with Sweet Caroline. Oh my God. I've been singing Sweet Caroline in my head all day ever since they announced the name of the new baby, Caroline Dawn Lundy. I love it. And that's because she was born at dawn. So when he put it out earlier today and he said it starts with a C, I'm like, if you named her COVID or Corona, I'm never speaking to you again. Because he said in his post, he said, it's a C and a D and it has something to do with what's going on today or in the world or something. I'm like, oh God, please do not tell me he named his daughter Corona or COVID, because of course, Oakland before that was named after the Oakland Raiders, who, he said he's not a fan anymore. So, things change. So be careful what you name your kids. All right, y'all. Happy New Year. Thank you again for just, being my friend and my supporters and you follow me and you just, you make life good, even in a pandemic. Somehow, some way we all stay connected. And I just don't want us to ever lose that connectivity that we all have going into 2021. And I wish you continued success. If I can ever help you, let me know. And I want all of you to be unapologetic about whatever it is you decide to do. You be unapologetic and you do you in 2021. All right, everybody, be safe out there tonight. Happy New Year. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.